Bailey is with us and says, "What is your favorite Hulk Hogan match you were ever on commentary for?" That's got to be WrestleMania 18 against Rock, isn't it? Or is there
Oh,
something else?
no, that's it. That's it. I hate to be so simplistic, but you're not going to replicate the crowd response, the atmosphere, Rock's performance. You know, Rock slowed his game down to make sure that Hogan could stay up. And that sounds negative and petty. I don't mean it to be, but you got a difference in age and injury situation and all those things. But I'd say that Hogan and Rock was my favorite match that I called that Hogan was involved in.
Is that the loudest, most energetic crowd for a single match you've ever called, do you think?
There might be something else down the road somewhere that would compare. I just can't think of it right off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But when we talk about these terms, that match stands out because it was, you know, it came out of, I don't want to say it came out of nowhere, but the audience changed roles and the talents changed roles. Uh, Rock was working more aggressive and more heelish because people just didn't want to boo Hogan, which says how strongly over that he was. So, but Rock was smart enough to play along with it and make sure that the roles were compatible. So if Rock had swum against the grain and to try to be this overwhelming heel, the match would have been like a fart in church. Just wasn't going to happen.
For the next 60 days, Hulkamania would be running wild. You know, a month after that match with Rock at WrestleMania 18, he beat Triple H to become the world champion. And then a month after that, The Undertaker beat him in Nashville to take it off Hulk. And I don't know that the WWF run was exactly the same after that. That feels like that was the peak of the return. I think with the benefit of hindsight, people would say, "Oh, well, that was just the nostalgia pop," but that's only good for so long and it wears off. Did you feel that way in the moment, or did you think, "Holy cow, he's going to get a whole nother run out of this. Listen to this crowd."
Well, I was hopeful that he'd get a whole nother run out of it. It makes my job easier as a head of
Hell
talent
yeah.
relation. The thing about it is, it's like the old story that's I've heard on more than one occasion from different wrestlers is that when they got their booking sheets at say TV, maybe I think that's where they got it distributed. The, the first thing they looked for was not where they were booked, but where Hogan was booked, and they were hopeful that wherever Hogan was booked, they'd find their name on that same card because they were probably more apt to make more money because he was the ticket seller. He was a top guy. He was the attraction. So it was just it was hard to explain, but I was hopeful that it showed a sign that he's going to explode again, and because with him exploding, we're going to sell more tickets. All the talents are going to make more money because of the tickets sold, thanks to Hogan's popularity.
You know, we know that that match is certainly a lot of performers' favorite matches. I mean, even a guy like Cody Rhodes thinks that, you know, that crowd response, man, that's the peak, that's the pinnacle, that's as good as it gets. I agree. But I almost wonder, hey, what about the match we never got? Allegedly, Vince McMahon wanted to make that WrestleMania 18 match Hogan versus Austin. And as the story goes, according to Dave Meltzer, Austin had no interest in it whatsoever. Meanwhile, The Rock had nothing but interest in wrestling Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania. Do you think that report is true? Austin didn't want to work with Hulk Hogan?
Oh, I know it's true. I talked to Steve about it. I mean, Steve and I, the world knows, we're very close, and he confided in me a lot because uh, he could trust me. He could trust me, and that I appreciated that, and it helped me manage the entire roster a lot better because Rock trusted me, and Steve trusted me, and so consequently, that the word got out in within the talent roster itself, and it helped me manage better. I had a good run in that respect. But yeah, I think Hogan he was just a different breed of cat, Conrad. It's hard to explain. I mean, I've been around talents that had massive egos and didn't trust, uh, and they weren't fun to work with. I said that before about Savage. I didn't dislike Savage. I just disliked his attitude and how he conducted his day-to-day business. Was he talented? Hell yeah, he was talented, obviously. Amazing star, but he was his own worst enemy at times, and so was Hulk.
I do want to ask you about that decision that Austin had to not work with Hogan. We
He
know
didn't
that
think they had chemistry, Conrad. I'm sorry. He didn't think they had chemistry. He thought the match would suck, and he wasn't going to stand for having a suck main event, especially at a WrestleMania. So that's the story there. It wasn't anything. It had nothing to do about the finish, or what could the finish be, or what would the finish be, whatsoever. But it had to do with Steve wanted. He was a perfectionist. He wanted to have a great match, not a good match, but a great match, and he simply thought he could not get that done. Stone Cold versus Hogan.
I'm not arguing that. I'm just trying to follow the rationale of what's going to follow, because we know that Hogan is up for the match with Austin. Austin turns it down. Austin winds up being slated against Scott Hall, and he's not happy about that. He's not happy about the match or his opponent
Why
or
should
the
he be?
placement.
How could he be? How could he be happy with it?
I guess what I'm asking is, what could have been done to make Austin happy? I mean, he's given an opportunity to wrestle Hulk Hogan. He says no, and he lands on Scott Hall. And less than 90 days later, he's frustrated with creative and walks out of the company. And I wonder, do you think he looked back with a tinge of regret, seeing the response that Hogan and Rock had and comparing it to his match with Scott Hall? Do you think he was like, damn, I missed it. I got it wrong. I called it wrong? Because ultimately, when he leaves, he's leaving because he's frustrated with creative. But the creative that he originally turned down worked fantastic for the Rock. I find that crossroads interesting. What can you tell us about that?
Again, Steve just had no confidence that the match would be good. It would let the fans down, in Steve's opinion. So he thought that they couldn't live up to the hype, and because Hogan's back and his pace of his game and so forth. And Steve had a lot of pride in his own performance, no matter who he was working with. So, but that's what made him great. He was very selective about who he worked with and what kind of match they had, because he felt like he knew what was best for Stone Cold better than anybody else. And I can't argue that point. So I don't know if he had any regrets. Knowing Steve as I do, I would doubt it. I would doubt that he had very many regrets, because he's still making great money. He still was selling merchandise out the ass. So I don't know.
Well, I mean, I don't mean to cut you off, but he was pissed off and frustrated. He left 45, 60, 75 days later. Like, I think he leaves in early June, the first week of June. So here we are. I think that WrestleMania was the last week of March. So it's not that long before he walks out. I guess what I was driving at is, if Austin had accepted the Hogan match, and instead of us all talking about that fantastic match between The Rock and Stone Cold, or I'm sorry, The Rock and Hulk Hogan, it was Stone Cold and Hulk Hogan, do you think Austin still would have walked out?
Hard to say. Hard to say, really. The ongoing creative process involving the Stone Cold persona is still where it comes back to. It's not one great match or one run with Hogan is not going to make Austin totally happy. That's just the kind of guy he is. Long-term success, building something, and he just didn't think that at one time Steve had the same theory about working with Taker, and he loved Taker. He respected Mark Calloway immensely, as we all do. But golly, it's just hard to put it. Steve was a complex guy, very complex guy. But at the end of the day, he was very pragmatic. He understood what buttered the bread and all those other good cliches. So I don't know. He may have had some regrets, Conrad, but he looked at it as a one-off, and you're not going to break your back and go crazy over a one-off.
Man, what could have been? I mean, it does feel like it would have been, one for the ages. Of
I can't see that
versus
match.
Icon.
Sorry, excuse me. I can't see that match being a success. It's not. Rock had a different style, different approach, different mindset. Rock was more of an entertainer. And at that stage of Hogan's career, he was an entertainer. Not to say that these guys aren't all entertainers to some degree, but Austin still built his shop on solid matches, great stories, violence, aggression. And like I said about Taker, Steve loves Undertaker. Who doesn't? But he didn't think their chemistry would live up to the hype of the match. And he may have been absolutely correct. He had a better feel for things like that than anybody that I know.
Don't we all love summer vacation, relaxing, laying out by the pool, barbecues, hitting the beach, doing, well, nothing? Well, how about a summer vacation from your house payments? With SaveWithConrad.com, you can do just that. Reduce your monthly payments by making the equity you built up in your home work for you. You can roll together those high interest rate credit cards into one lower monthly payment and perhaps access some of that newfound equity to turn your house into your dream home with no money out of pocket. And how about this? You get to skip your next 2 house payments. Go right now to SaveWithConrad.com. Let my team run the numbers for you for free. There's no obligation, and if we can't help you save some cash, we won't waste your time. And did I mention we're offering a 3-year guarantee right now? That's right. That means if at any point interest rates improve over the next 3 years, you get a free refi. That's right. No new lender fees from us. So you get to save money now without wasting money later when the rates improve on a whole second set of closing costs. Why not go to SaveWithConrad.com and get a guarantee? Save money now and save money later with your friend in the mortgage business. That's me, Conrad Thompson at SaveWithConrad.com. Shoot me an email at Conrad@SaveWithConrad.com. Give us a call at 888-425-0105 or get yourself a quick quote. Even talk to a live person right now at SaveWithConrad.com. NMLS number 2129, equal housing lender. Let's take a summer vacation from house payments at SaveWithConrad.com.